Hey, what's up, Simon? This is a demo video for you for your custom Doctor Strange flagship with the crystal chamber extension. I will, of course, leave this video unlisted until you have a chance to get this in the mail and do your video and everything. And then once you tell me everything is uploaded and it's been up for a couple days, I'll post this because I do like to have all my work on my channel. But no biggie, right? I got this yesterday and set to etching on it because I made the design as soon as you and I spoke. All right, so this is a 2-button setup. It's got my buddy Rob Sotomayer's dual tactile switch made out of brass. So your top switch here will be your activation. Your bottom will be your auxiliary. Doctor Strange, kind of like the magical runes on the shrouds because I thought those looked really nice as far as an etch. You come over here, this is actually his profile, or his silhouette rather. So you might be able to see that better in person when it comes to you, but hopefully you can see it now. And as we keep spinning, I went with the magical rune theme. One thing I do like about these two, aside from the fact that they make a good etch, they are reversible. So if you wanted to take these shrouds, and flip them, you could definitely do that and it wouldn't look out of place. All right. And then we have that sign as well. And if you can tell, that's kind of his full body silhouette in the background. That is probably something you'll see better, when you get it in person. I went with a quote for the switch section. It says, faith is my shield, faith is my sword, truth is my shield, and knowledge my armor. So I got that all around the switch section for you. Hopefully you like the way that came out all the way around there. Try to go nice and slow so you can kind of catch it all. More than likely, I will send you this video before this gets uploaded to 4K because I'm just, I'm never patient enough to wait for that. But if you happen to watch this early, you can go back and watch it a couple hours after you do the first time and it will be in 4K and then you'll be able to see everything better. Here's your crystal chamber. It is incorporated into my chassis, so I put a little bit of some mesh behind there. So you have a little bit of depth. Let me see if I get that to focus. You have a little bit of depth to that crystal chamber. It's just not bare with a crystal in it. There is a real quartz crystal in the middle. You've got your Eye of Agamotto right there. And then the other side, there's two sides to this crystal chamber, right? So you got some brass mesh there, or some aluminum mesh there rather. And then you've got that sign there as well. And then to get to the chassis, you just want to open the handle. The handle is wrapped in an ox blood leather wrap that I got from Defcon Bird on Etsy, which is pretty much the go-to place for leather wraps for sabers. All right, so got the red wrap there that you wanted for the cape. I ordered this as soon as you and I spoke about this project, and it actually showed up the same day that your saber did, which was yesterday. So while the saber was etching, I went ahead and I wrapped the handle. All right, but when you take the handle off, slide it off, this is what your chassis looked like. I tried to go with the runes, again on this side of the chassis. I just thought it looked cool. I used a white marble PLA, which is something I've been playing around with lately, and I just think it looks nice. It's a nice contrast. Some more symbols right here for Doctor Strange. When you flip it over here, it actually says Doctor Strange on it, and then it solo sabers for me. This is something I put on all of my chassis. You're running a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker, so this guy sounds very good. You have a removable battery. All right, so much different from the Bane that I previously did for you. If I can put a removable battery inside of a saber, that's usually what I do. So a removable battery in here, try to make everything nice and clean so there's minimum amount of wires that are showing. Spring size, you're negative. Okay. Now, one thing is I won't be sending you a battery because I'm sending this overseas. I don't know what kind of batteries you have. I always model my chassis and I always recommend Keep Power batteries. This is an 18650 3000 mAh Keep Power. But the most important thing about this battery is a protected cell. And a protected cell battery is a slightly bit longer than an unprotected cell, which you should never use in your sabers. All right, so this is a Keep Power protected cell, 18650, and that's what fits in this guy. And then lastly, when you flip it over here, you've got your CFX board. All right, so easy access to your SD card. I know my buddy Jesse over at Kyberphonic made some sound fonts for you specific to this saber. I don't have the fonts. I have the stock font package on here for now. I did put a Luke font on here just to test, and I'll be doing the demo with it as well. All right, so one thing you requested was no matter what blade color there was, you wanted the crystal chamber to be green, which is what I did. So the crystal chamber actually has two different green LEDs. There's one on the top that lights up the crystal from the bottom, and then there's one on the other side that lights it from the other side, obviously. They do blink differently, so you'll see that there's two different LED accents in there. And then I went ahead and I put two more onboard SMD LEDs on the actual board, and those are both green as well. So those will blink green and they do something different as well. All right, so after all that talking about it, we're going to throw a battery in. When you throw a battery in, kind of just cradle the chassis. Be kind of careful with it. Don't come over here and be slamming a battery in it because you will break it, over time if you're not careful. So just treat it like the expensive thing that it is. Come over here, cradle the chassis in your hand, throw the battery in. So if I spin this around for you, you can see one of the LEDs eventually on the board will light up like that, but there are two different ones. You can see you got a little bit of some stuff going on with your crystal chamber. If it will show up on video, it might be something that you could tell there's two different ones in. In person, you can definitely tell, until we turn it on. Now, as you can see, I left the blade purple. I didn't change that because I wanted you to see it was a different color, but your crystal chamber is green and it's pulsing back and forth. You got both LEDs on your board now blinking back and forth. If we come over here and hold down auxiliary for blade lockup, you'll see that both on your board and your crystal chamber. Again. We'll turn it off just like that. And we'll come over here and throw your handle on, which slides right on. I did go through and I polished everything up. So what you can do every so often, if you find this is tarnishing a little bit, you can take some brass polish and a cloth and you can polish everything up. I did everything on a buffing wheel here to give you a nice head start. So it has a nice sheen on it. All right, but handle's all on. Come over here and hit power. Nice smooth swing. Blaster bolts is just tapping auxiliary. And of course, blade lockup is holding it down. I will turn this off. We're going to throw a blade in it. Let me grip my longer blade for this one. You have a Carl Chen PCB for your neopixel connector, by the way. So that has LEDs on it as well. This takes your standard 1-inch diameter neopixel blade. Just like to make sure it's on. I like to make sure it's touching the pins and then, so I don't mash down on the pins. So we got that blade in. Purple for now, but if we hold down aux and twist our wrist, Spectrum. You hear that. Now you can twist the saber and go through different colors. If you like that green, let's find that green again. Right there, we hit power. Now we got a green blade, right? Again. Lightening up the blade very nicely. And nice and solid when it's all put together. Good flash on clash.
Spectrum.
Find a red. Red blade, green crystal chamber, right? Red is a lot easier to see your blaster bolt deflex and your blade lockup. play your soundtrack, just hold down the power button for about 1 second or so. And the same thing to turn it off. To turn off your soundtrack is just a quick double click, or to turn it on, you can do that as well. All right, you have a couple different options there. So anyway, we will go ahead and take the blade out of this guy and go over taking the battery out, which is super easy to do. We'll just twist the blade out. If you have a brand new blade, you'll probably want to do some sanding because the blade socket is pretty tight in this guy. All right, so we'll come back over here and unscrew the handle. When unscrewing the handle, one thing you want to make sure of is you don't unscrew the crystal chamber section. I hand tightened this as much as I could, but I didn't glue it down. So when you unscrew your handle, you probably want to grab it from the crystal chamber and then unscrew the handle piece. That way the middle part, doesn't lose any of its tension on the threads. All right, but we'll go ahead and we'll take this out. From the positive side of the battery, which is over here by your speaker, you should be able to pop it out with your finger just like that. All right, and that is basically your Doctor Strange custom etched flagship. Let me know if you got any questions, and if not, I am going to put this off to the side and hang on to it until you tell me it's safe to send it, because I know with the holidays and everything, we don't want to risk losing it. But anyway, I hope you like everything that I did to this guy, and it was a pleasure to work on. All right, thanks for watching.